What's going on, chat? Today we're going to be reacting to Why It Sucks Being Born as a Titanoboa. It's by Dan Ban. Never watched this channel before, so we're going to see what it's like. There's been a recent upsurge of videos like this on YouTube, or at least that's been popping up in my recommended at the very least. So we're going to see what they're talking about.
You're a little snake baby chilling in your mama, just waiting to be born. Then squish, slowly light comes in through a hole as your mom pushes you out onto the ground. You simply slide out since your species just gives birth.
I will say the pictures are, like the animation is pretty good for what I would not imagine. I mean, like a really put together thing.
To live babies instead of laying eggs. Not knowing what's going on, your mom just says "Sss," and fucks off into the jungle, not caring if you live or die, which is very common for snakes to do.
Yep.
Damn, someone's not getting flowers for Mother's Day. You think?
Are there any snakes that actually do parental care? I think there are. Pit vipers? Wow. Live young. Wow. Pit vipers, of all things. I would not have expected that. I would have expected like garter snakes or I don't know, like a communal snake, not really a pit viper would be my first suspect.
But you keep slipping and sliding along, because you know, you're just a baby snake right now. But you're not just any snake, you're a Titanoboa, and life is about to be pretty tough for you. Despite being able to grow to 15 meters long, life isn't great because it's hot and hella humid. The weather is mainly due to its time period, known as the Paleocene. This was about 60 million years before the person watching this was ever born. As a Titanoboa, you're born in what's now Colombia, deep in a swampy jungle. The trees are tall.
Colombia didn't exist back there.
It seems like everything is out to hurt you. The animals are massive compared to what we see now. Everything back then was huge due to higher levels of oxygen in the air. And here you are, just born, and the odds of survival are pretty.
You know what's funny about that? I literally just had to do like a literature dive on increased size when it comes to elevated oxygen for insects, crustaceans. I don't think it's actually been done with crustaceans, which is what I was looking at, because it's like a gap in knowledge, and I feel like it'd be super interesting to try to set up an experiment using like crayfish or lobster and pumping it with elevated oxygen to see if you could get them to increase in size like they can with insects. Certain species of insects, they can increase in size with greater oxygen. And crustaceans are very closely related to insects, so it'd be pretty interesting to see if you could get larger crustaceans by elevating oxygen. Which is what I want to actually do.
And here you are, just born, and the odds of survival are pretty slim since you're by yourself. But you're a pretty big newborn, around 3 to 5 feet long already. And you're like, hey, I'm practically fully grown. But
Pretty tall.
You remember your mom.
Pretty long.
About 50 feet long and as heavy as a car, around 2,500 pounds to be exact, and realize, I'm just getting started. And also, your friends will never let you hear the end of "yo mama's so fat" jokes. But if they do that, you'll just eat them, because you literally eat everything, even other Titanoboas. You're about to be the apex predator of the jungle. You slither through the jungle and swamps, leaving a...
They gotta just be assuming that Titanoboa were cannibals, unless they found, like, I don't know, fossil remains of, like, one inside of another stomach or something. They must just be, like, basing that off of their closest relative or something. I don't know how you'd be able to figure out that they're cannibals. We don't have any anymore.
trail in the mud like a massive noodle, looking for something to eat. You try out small stuff at first, while you're only a few feet long, like frogs, birds, maybe even a rat or two. But quickly, you grow and think that a better meal would be something big. You're swimming around in the water, using your wide body to stay afloat, which is when you see a tortoise, the size of a trash can lid, just hanging out, munching on some leaves. And like any good predator, you slide into those DMs. You say as you slither up next to him. The tortoise looks at you like, bro, I'm just trying to sunbathe. Get off my lawn. And you're like, sorry buddy, as you wrap your body around him. But the tortoise thinks it's safe in its shell when, crush, he's smashed flat in his own shell. You loosen your grip around him and you put your mouth up to him. Open up your jaws nice and wide and slide his body in.
That's like what they do with alligators in Florida.
6 freaking feet wide and would swallow most grown adults whole. So by doing this, you slide that tortoise in and you eat his squished remains slowly. Constrictors typically like to take large amounts of meat down their throat very slowly.
Hey yo.
Anyway,
Hey yo.
TItanoboa, life seems pretty good. You've got no predators, only prey. I mean, who could down a 15-meter long noodle? Maybe some girls in the comments of Twitter posts. If you know, you know. You're going fast, stretching out like a big scaly limo. You aren't satisfied by tortoises and rats anymore. Time for something much bigger. Soon you're tackling some prehistoric crocodile. His jaws might be able to snap logs, but you're like, try me. You coil around it, squeezing like it's an oversized stress ball, until, crunch, you snap his back in half like a
Ignoring the Twitter comments from the previous little section, I feel like this would be like a lot more 50-50, kind of like what it's seen in the Everglades, where it's like sometimes the python ends up eating the alligator, especially if it's larger or it like gets a good wraparound. But like one bite from the gator usually is enough to end the python. Especially considering like the size of considering the size, look, sometimes it loses, sometimes they win. This one's not really showing it, but I don't know what was Deinosuchus. Like TItanoboa was like 50 feet. Let's see what this size is. But like the alligators and stuff back then were also that size, so it's very comparable to like today. So I feel like it would still be much more of a 50-50 than just TItanoboa win every time.
And now you've grown to the biggest, baddest dude in the swamp. You've hit a solid 40 to 50 feet in length. That's the length of a whole ass tractor trailer. But now, since you're feeling quite good and successful about yourself, you get on Snake Tinder and start looking for a mate. Time to rizz up some snake yats. You smell something in the air. It's a pheromone of a super sexy female TItanoboa. You already know what time it is. So there you are, a big horny snake. You pull up to her crib, which is usually a rotting log or a rock outcrop, and that's when you see a couple TItanoboas just hanging around. One is already laying that pipe, while the other's just lost. Adam 22 is called a mating ball. It's basically getting a train ran on her.
Adam 22.
And it's honestly just made the best sperm win. And the sex itself is like 2 spaghetti noodles wrapped around each other for hours. Not only that, but it was also theorized the males will fight over the opportunity to hit it too. You watch as 2 male snakes approach, and that's when the 2 males start fighting. Chomp, squeeze. In an aggressive fight, one finally wraps around the other.
So is this just like modern, like this is just like modern snakes, pretty much, is what this video is saying. I don't know if there used to be a video. I'll see if I can find it later. But there used to be a video of 2 rock pythons fighting.
Squeezing his life out of him. His limp body drops to the floor.
But they didn't kill each other often.
He signals it's time for the deed, and he goes at it. He looks
I don't think they kill each other.
The female wraps around him, crushing it down on his back. He's like, "Damn girl, you crazy bis." as she chokes the life from his body, then proceeds to devour him, which is pretty normal for TItanoboas. You watch that in horror, going, maybe it was the best, it wasn't my turn to mate. As you
How do they know cannibalism
and
is so
luckily, somehow,
common?
you're able to escape the mating season and survive. But things are about to get worse for you, like much worse. Not only have you needed to be nice and hot, but you've been living in a swamp your whole life, and a lot of the other animals have been evolving to avoid you as well. The animals are getting smaller and quicker. The world is getting colder, and the oxygen isn't as high as it once was, meaning things aren't growing as big as they once did. Plus, turns out a climate shift is coming. The swamps are drying up and temperatures are dropping. Not ideal for a cold-blooded giant like you.
Nope.
Slowly, your food sources get smaller and smaller, and you find fewer places to hunt comfortably. So then you get hungrier, slower, and less effective at taking down prey. Evolution isn't on your side. In time, you and your fellow TItanoboas start to die off from all of this. Eventually, you find yourself slithering deep into a cave, waiting for your end. It's been fun, you think, as you reflect on your life. You're probably about 30 to 40 years old at that point, but your species was around for millions of years.
Yep.
You're the last of its kind, so you take one last breath, deep on the ground.
And you're
Finally,
gone.
You die, leaving behind only bones. Millions of years go by and no one knew you ever existed, until one day. 60 million freaking years later in Colombia.
60 million fucking
coal
years
miners
later.
would find your bones. Bang! The miners slam a rock with a pickaxe and shine their light to see a massive bone sticking out from the rocks.
Yep.
What is that? One asks. The paleontologists show up and start to put the pieces together. They don't even know you're a snake at first. They thought you were just some Loch Ness monster at first. However, after many days of carving the rocks out, they finally find your skull and realize that you were the biggest snake to ever live. 15 meters long and as wide as a doorway, able to swallow a whole human. You get to finally be recognized for the badass you were, which is the TItanoboa. Yeah, the TItanoboa's life really did suck, but it didn't suck as much as the Megalodon. Like, I know, you're probably shocked because it's literally the most powerful creature in human history, but its life was really tragic.
I don't know about
From the moment it was born, all the way to its slow
And
death,
didn't they
leading to
find... Hold on, didn't they find like another larger snake? Bit. Largest snake ever. I thought they found like another Sorry, I'm typing with one hand. Yeah, there we go. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure they found another snake that was very much the same size, if not larger, than TItanoboa. Yeah. Longest snake ever recorded. Okay. I knew my memory wasn't that bad. This was a good video though. I actually enjoyed that. I wonder what else. I know. I'm assuming they got a Megalodon video. Yep. The first one actually. We'll watch those later probably.
Oh my god, they're so pretty. Look at their sides.